welcome to Darling Games. My name is Dana and I'm really happy to have you here today. Today we're doing something different than we did on my past fall core themed island. I've been inspired by Nora at Horrible Gaming on YouTube, and I'll link her YouTube channel below for you. And I used the street paths and codes from Colin Crossing, and Colin, it's colin.crossing on Instagram, and I've also linked his Instagram account down below so that you can find all these codes that I used for this particular part of my video. So I've been watching a lot of the Horrible Gaming CityCore videos, and while this is not in any way a replication of anything that I've seen Nora do, it's definitely inspired by what I've watched her creating buildings from different objects. Luckily with the 2.0, we've gotten some pieces that can actually be used as buildings kind of by themselves, and you don't have to use so many things to create the illusion because they actually look like buildings. So I've used quite a few of the 2.0 items, but I will be honest with you, the way that I was able to fill in the buildings was completely inspired by what I watched Nora do on her videos. I did not realize that you could actually create the illusion of buildings in this way. So I really appreciate her videos and the things that she is able to create, and just the fact that she's completely inspired me to do this. So my last island that I had done was very natural in theme. I had done a fall island, and I had actually really wanted to do a Christmas themed island, but unfortunately where I work in December is crazy, so I've not been able to post any videos in December this year. And then me and my family all got sick right before Christmas, and so it just made another element of not being able to post videos or really do anything that I enjoy doing. So during that time though, I was obviously watching a lot of YouTube videos on what other creators do and got inspired to do a CityCore theme. I wanted to stay in winter since we're in winter now, and I live in Indiana. And in Indiana, the weather is ever changing. One day it's snowing, the next day it's like summer. You never know what you're gonna get. But normally in Indiana, the months of sometimes December, but mostly January, February are snowy. So my hope is to be able to complete this island sometime by the end of February, and just to kind of keep you updated as to what I'm actually doing on the island. And then hopefully, provided I don't get bored of the theme, we will complete an island tour with it. Now I had planned on streaming this on Twitch, but unfortunately I've, like I said, been sick. I really just didn't have the voice or ability to do Twitch right now and live stream. I do plan on getting back to that as soon as I feel a little bit better. Right now, just doing a short voiceover is a lot easier for me. So I decided to go ahead and do this. And I had created this on my own time, just kind of playing around in my living room, trying to come up with some ideas. So I wanted to recreate it for you. So I basically erased everything and then started fresh again so that you could see how I created this, because it turned out so cute. And one of my girls, she came in and she's like, oh my gosh, this is like the best that this island's ever looked. So I thought if she really likes it, maybe you'd really like it too. And maybe you could get some inspiration from what I'm doing on this island and do something like this on your island. And if you are inspired by it, please let me know in the comments. You can follow me over on Instagram. I'll have that linked below for you. I'm also on Pinterest. I will link that as well. I have a lot of my ideas I get from Instagram and Pinterest. That's actually where I found this creator code, because I actually had Colin Crossing creator codes before saved. I just had never used his street designs. Now seeing how CityCore can be implemented, I decided to start using his street designs, and I really liked how it came out. And he's got this really nice snow street design. I had originally started with another street design. If I can find it, I'll link that one for you as well. It has a winter design as well. It was a little bit lighter. The tiles were more gray, whereas these are a little bit more tan, and the street was quite a bit lighter with the snow. The only reason I ended up changing it is just because of the brightness of the snow. I felt like this one stood out and fit what I was trying to do a little bit better, and this street is a little bit darker. I ended up going with this one, but there is another street code that I had tried that was super pretty as well. And if I can find it, I will link it for you to be able to check out that one, because you might like that one instead of this one. What I wanted to create was kind of just an entrance where you came in and had this bustling street, a lot of activity, so the villagers would be over in this area since it's right in front of the resident services. Unfortunately, when I created this island, I wanted my resident services to be right by the airport, which I got, but it was literally one tile off. It took a little while to figure out how to create something where it was just slightly one tile off and not have it look weird or just out of place. I ended up using just some objects to move over and just kind of, I guess, disguise the road right there so that's not so obvious. And I also used, Colin has a custom like little diagonal part of his path, so I just used that like right in front of the airport, so it was like you kind of came off the airport ramp onto a little landing and then you actually walked out onto the street area. So I think it balanced okay. It's not ideal. I really would have liked to have had the airport perfectly centered, but it didn't work out that way, and that's okay because I do think that this looks really nice. One of my favorite 2.0 items are these little bunnies that they have. I love these bunnies. I don't know why, but I think I used like 3 or maybe even 4 bunnies in this build, and I have a whole bunch more bunnies in my storage because I'll probably be using bunnies all over this island. It'll be a bunny infested island. But anyway, they are so cute. I just absolutely love them. So I went back and forth trying to figure out which pillar to use. And you could use several different pillars. I had tried the ice pillar. I had also tried, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a more marble looking pillar. And then I had tried this ruined pillar with the vines. And just once I got the buildings in place, I really liked the way the ruined pillar looked. I wanted something on top of it because it didn't seem like it was quite tall enough. And if you've got any suggestions for what to put on top of these pillars to make them look more building-like, I would be all ears. But I ended up using the mini little snowman as just kind of like a little cute thing that I put on top of the pillars just to give them a little extra height. And I just kind of did it on all the pillars. I'm not really sold on it, so if there is an item that would look better on the pillars, I will certainly switch it out. But right now, that's kind of all I could come up with, so that is what I used. And with these flowers, my goal, I was running back and forth because I really wanted each foursquare to have one of each color flower, because the flowers I'm using on this island, at least the plan is right now, is to use pinks, blues, purples, and whites, and just make it like a really cool looking winter island. Just very... not really pastel necessarily, but sort of pastel, I guess, but without, everything being so light. So even if it's like a bright pink or a bright purple, I'm still going to use it. I just really wanted like the cool tones, I guess, is maybe what I wanted for winter. I felt like it goes really well with the color of the snow. I dropped all these little snow flakes on the ground. I don't know if you like that. Let me know if you like that. But I thought it looked really cute, and on my last island, I had dropped all kinds of like acorns and items on the ground, and I really liked the way it looked. So I thought, well, I could give it a little bit of that type of feeling on this island as well, and drop some of the snowflakes around just to give it kind of like a little natural feeling. I love that we got these scooters and these cars and all these types of items as well, and I definitely made use of using those items. I tried to kind of balance, like, I didn't want too much pink in it. I kind of wanted it to read more like blue, I guess, just because of the cold weather, and snow, and I wanted it with the blue skies and stuff. I don't know. But I wanted to balance a little bit of pink. I just found some pink items I felt like would maybe be by a plaza if you were in a city, and a popcorn machine seemed like a really cute thing. And I like that the snowman or snow lady, that you can customize her with the pink items. I think she went really well on this area in this entrance. And I customized like the scooters and the cars and things to be like the aqua color or the blue or the cream, just those types of colors, so that they really fit well with the theme. And some of the frozen items, they're shiny, and they're also at nighttime, they're really lit up, which I didn't get a picture of this at nighttime. I should have gotten a picture of it for you guys. But at nighttime, this looks really pretty. And actually, after the build, I had found some floor lights that were blue and purple that I end up putting back behind the partitions, because you can see this when you do the flyover into my island. I wanted, if you did the flyover at night, to be able to have it, nice and lit up. And so I put some of those floor lights, but I didn't end up doing it in the video. I kind of did it after. I'm sure this is going to be modified to some extent because that's just how I am. I create things and then I find something else I like a little bit better and then I'll modify it slightly. But I feel like the whole feeling of this area is really good. I like the way it turned out. I use these medieval buildings, and I used them in just select colors like the grays, tans. I used the pink one and the blue one. And I wanted to kind of create the illusion that you had a whole bunch of buildings around resident services, that it was like a plaza surrounded by, I don't know, like apartments or office buildings or something like that. I kind of, to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a little bit like what you would maybe see across seas in like Italy or France or something, where you might have like a central courtyard area with high-rise apartments and buildings around it where people live, or you have restaurants and theaters and that sort of thing. So I guess that's kind of what I was inspired by. I don't know that the whole island's necessarily going to be that theme. That just seemed like it went really well in front of resident services with these medieval buildings. So it did take a lot of these medieval buildings, and I do subscribe on Twitch to A Treasure Island. I also have some friends on Twitch that will send me items, and one of them sent me a lot of these medieval buildings. So I got them all customized to the colors that I wanted. I still didn't have quite enough of the medieval buildings. Originally, I had thought I was going to use like a castle on this island, and I had decided not to do that and to go more of a city theme. So I have a whole bunch of castle stuff, but not as many of the medieval buildings here. I ended up having to actually go to a treasure island in the middle of this build and get some more of them because I didn't have quite enough. Because you'll see that I'm placing everything that I have here, but then when I look at it, there's a few holes and gaps and things that I have to fill in. So I ended up having to go get some more of these items. And one of the things that I have learned watching Nora doing hers is that you have to make your second level a little bit bigger than what you need it to be. And then you can kind of terraform and take that back off, because you need a space to be able to push your items over to where they need to go. I don't like that the medieval buildings don't line up to each other. They don't completely back up to each other. So I'm using these wide display cabinets. That was a trick that I found on Horrible Gaming. That's what she was using on some of her stuff, and it looked really cute. It definitely makes it, as you walk by it, look like it has a roof on it. So that's what I started doing. Some of them I probably will just back up to each other because I don't know that I'm going to put the wide display cabinets in front of all of them. But I didn't completely finish the backs of this build. I figured as I decide what I want to do around this building, I'll be finishing the backs accordingly. But right now I just wasn't really sure how I was going to finish it off. And so I just did some of the areas that I knew that I wanted to be that way and used these display cabinets so that they were finished off. But as I continue to create this island, I will make those choices and probably change a little bit of it, which is pretty normal. I think we all probably do that, right? Am I the only one that changes my stuff on my island a million times? Or do you do that too? Let me know. I'm curious, because maybe I'm the only one that just does that. I don't know. But I really like the way that these turned out, and they just looked really cute in this island. And at first I had thought that I wanted the medieval buildings to come like right up to the plaza. And then after kind of looking at it, I decided I wanted to have like a little space on either side of the plaza where I could see maybe the villagers sitting, and sometimes they like to sing songs or whatever it is that they like to do. So I pushed everything back a space, and I used the pillars just to kind of like bridge that gap between the two different colors. But I wanted to create like a little space for the villagers to sit and just to look really cute off there on the side of the resident services on either side. So I wanted one side to be like I like that Moroccan little poof that we got. I think that thing is so cute. I used the Moroccan poof and the Moroccan table on the one side, and then on the other side, the frozen counter. So as if, you know, maybe they serve drinks on the one side of it, and then you can go and sit on the other side. And I thought it looked really cute right there in the middle of the plaza. I know this part of it is a little bit boring, having to watch me pushing the buildings, but I wanted you to be able to see what I actually used to create what I've created on this island, so that if you wanted to create buildings like this, you could certainly do it yourself. So I think it's very important just to see the whole process and how I went about creating the looks that I have created here. Like I had said before, my plan was to actually stream this on Twitch, and I will be streaming on Twitch this island, but until I get back to streaming, as I come up with ideas for the island, I am going to create short builds for you, just to show you like what I'm doing, because I'll be honest with you, sharing the process of building has really kept me committed to completing the builds and making sure that everything gets finished. And so I really appreciate you guys in this process. So here we're at the end of the build, and we've used a couple of the bunnies and different items that are like the blues and the creams and pinks and those types of things to really match. Somebody posted on Instagram this USPS sign, and I thought that was so appropriate, because when I first saw those trash cans, I thought that they looked like mailboxes in America. So when I found that, I found their custom code. If I can find that again, I will actually link that below for you guys as well. And I do want to create like a post office. I just don't know if I want to create it right next to resident services or what I want to do. So at this point, I'm not really sure how I'm going to expand outside of this street, but here is what I have created today. If you did like this video, I would appreciate your support in liking and subscribing to my channel, and I will continue making more videos for you. Thank you. Bye.